moms, they would tell you yes. And that's the only way to get through homeschool. So I don't know. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I am going to start presenting. And we're just going to do some breathing for about a minute. And I'm going to put some relaxing music on as we do it. Okay, so as you guys are doing it, you're just taking deep breaths in, deep breaths out. If you want to close your eyes, you can, but just try to think of it as a way of inhaling all the good in the world and exhaling everything that is bad or making you stressed or nervous. Deep breath in and release. And release. And all the positive, wonderful, exhale all the negativity and stress. This is really good for you, especially if you've just been kind of oversaturated with the news and wondering, are we going to, how long are we going to be here? When will this end? Don't think about that. Think about the fact that you guys are all here and healthy, and yeah. Breathe in and out, in and out. Let's do it one more time. And out. Alrighty. Okay. So I want to put this do now out there, and I want you guys to tell me what you know about slavery. And I'm going to strategically block the board because I already have some stuff up. And how we're going to do this is I'm going to go back to the chat, and I want you guys to I'm also recording this right now too. Okay, yes, James, he's on it. So yes, you're going to raise your hand by typing it in the chat box, or just put a hand emoji. So James is already up. James, you can unmute yourself and share.
Okay, and you'd like to hear stuff that we haven't heard about before yet?
Sure.
Like that we discussed yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely.
I did actually have a question.
Yeah.
Like, did an enslaved person get sold and then they got seasoned, or did they season them beforehand because they would be worth more?
I mean, it really depends. Once you have people come off of the boats that brought them to the Americas, you wanted to make sure that you could get someone that was strong. That was like the main thing that you wanted to have, someone that was strong, someone that you know that you could get a lot of work out of. And so for a lot of them, the seasoning happens, it actually starts while they're on the boat, to be honest. And that is with like the whipping. That is also with when the British banned the slave trade. You have a lot of people that end up like throwing people off of the boats. So seasoning happened at different moments. And for a lot of them, it actually starts, I mean, honestly, even before you get on the boat, when you start to brand them before they get on the boat, that's considered seasoning. But the real work begins once they step off the boat and once they get sold. But you also did have people that would literally like season enslaved peoples first and then send them to plantations. So it really just depends, if that makes any sense. Okay, but some may have prior not. Okay, Liz, I'll keep that in mind.
But
Um,
for like the formal process of like organizing them into maybe a work gang and
yeah,
having like an old African or a Creole like caretaker for them, that would happen after sale,
yes,
generally.
yes, generally, yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we have a few hands up. Irma, you can unmute.
Um, many many of the enslaved Africans had to work on plantations and sugarcane plantations, and also have to collect cotton.
Yes. Yes. Good. Thank you for sharing. Next is Sam.
Yeah, a lot of people were captured from their country in order to come and work as slaves, and like there was like both like some they just go to that place and capture them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Jalen, where Jay, you only have two hands. Okay, Jay, you're next.
Miss, what did they do about those that were captive that were very malnourished and nearly not as strong as others, and not nearly as strong as others?
Well, what they tried to do is make them look really appealing. So they would like grease them up. Some of them they would try to like make them better before putting them out. But a lot of times they would like grease them up and try to do things to make them physically appealing, even though they knew that they were already sick, in order to get a higher price for them. But the reality is, if you have an enslaved person, they clothe them with him. Yes. Oh my God. So that's the other thing. Oh my goodness. And that's like probably the most brutal thing ever. Thank you, Adriana. But we talked about dysentery before in class, and some people got to rest on some of the islands. Yes. Okay. Nermeen is here. Nermeen, what can you tell me about dysentery? You can unmute or you can type it.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, so we learned for dysentery, we learned that a lot of the soldiers during the Civil War had it, and that Harriet Tubman actually found a cure, and it actually worked, and it saved a lot of soldiers' lives.
Yeah.
That's what we learned.
Okay. Good. And so hemp is like a fiber, and that was one way that some people that was one way that they tried to, so they would literally like put it in your up your backside to stop it. And so that was one way of also like trying to, in your back way. Yes, Sabrina. Thank you. So as an effect, you poop it off. Yes, and it is a horrible way to die. It is a horrible way to die. Yes, in your bum. There we go. Thank you. Jalen, you have your hand up. You have one more question?
Miss, can you further explain what that is?
Dysentery?
Yes, like I don't really get
okay,
what's the point of it.
Basically, it's like an illness. And what happens is it causes you basically poop to death. You can't stop. You have diarrhea and it just keeps coming out until you die. And it's a horrible way to die.
But why though? Like, why did they do that?
Why did you get it? Or why did they plug it up?
Oh, I get it. I'm sorry. I get it.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to share out some things that they know about slavery before we get started? Yep. Okay, go ahead, Sam. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, and people used to sell their children to like other people in other no, they used to like sell their children for money and other thing to go for slavery and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, you'll be there until the money your parent or what it got like you the money, right? Like when your mom or daddy sell you to someone, you work for that time, and at the end of the day, you work until the money is over.
Yeah. So whatever time they would, basically you have no control over your life. So
Yeah.
when they tell you to get up, that's when you get up. And a lot of times you will work from sun up to sundown. And some people were like on the clock 24 hours, especially if you were inside the home.
And a lot of people, right, in Africa or other places, right, they didn't have what they need. Like, so people used to the Western people used to take food and give it to them, and then they can give their children in exchange of the food.
Right. So you're talking about back in Africa before they've even made it to the Americas. People were they were selling or exchanging other.
Yeah, like you would get like you would get like a fish, like let's say like a fish, and then in exchange of that, they give that children to the person.
Yeah, that did happen as well. Okay, thanks, Sam. All right, so I put up some things that I feel like is really important to talk about. And again, I'm sorry, this is just like a brief overview, but some key things that you should know. So I'm curious, can you guys tell me what were like the main staple crops in the Caribbean and also in the US? And you can raise your hand. Oh, I'm sorry, James, I missed that. James has raised his hand. Oh, James has left the meeting. Okay. Okay, so what were some of the crops that were used? You guys can type it. Or you can rate, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you guys. I was like too far up. Okay. Sugar, cotton, coffee, yes. Sugar, coffee, tobacco. Yeah, oh my gosh, Liz. I'm like, why is nobody responding? Yes, wheat. Did anybody say rice? Okay. Awesome sauce. Indigo. Yes. Who said that? Siani. Get it, Siani. Awesome. Okay. What are the main staple crops? I just simply asked what were the main crops. She said, hey, it's Liddy. What are the main staple crops? What are the main staple crops? I just simply wanted to know what were like some of the main crops that were used during slavery. And so we have a lot up here already. These are good. So it's important to know these things. So overall, there's like really big differences between slavery in the Caribbean and slavery in the United States. So one thing you guys also need to know, yesterday I told you that there were more enslaved peoples brought to the Caribbean than to North America. And that was for a reason. So one of the main staple crops in the Caribbean was sugar and tobacco. Yes, it was definitely more harsh. I actually did my 12th grade research paper on this and found out a lot. And the thing that I did not know before I did that research paper was that enslaved peoples were only expected to live, yes, they were extremely dangerous. Anybody want to tell me why sugar plantations were so dangerous? Does anybody remember from my class? James, yes. James put his hand up, and then we'll do,
so
wait, stop typing. Okay, James, and then Rose.
The reason that sugar plantations were so dangerous is because sugar required pretty much round-the-clock attention to keep it growing, which is why they had to import forced labor in the first place. You couldn't pay anyone to do that and still make a profit.
Absolutely.
And especially, I think, when they were like getting the sap out of the plants, they would have slaves work for like 48 hours sometimes without sleeping. And then you'd have injuries where they had to chop people's hands off and all this sorts of brutal stuff.
Yes, good. And they had to work quickly. All right. Is there anybody who still wants to share after hearing James's answer? And the room was blistering hot. Yes. Alex. And then Jalen. Okay, you know what? Hold on, Alex. Let me let Jalen, because he was in the previous crew, I think. So let's let Jalen share, and then Alex, you will be next. So Jalen, unmute yourself and share, and then Alex, you will be next.
Wasn't that like when they told, I think that's when you told us that they said they will work you till you died on there or something like that?
Yes. Yeah. And because it was like an easy way to get more. Okay, sorry, I skipped Rose. Rose, if you still want to speak, you can unmute yourself and you can go. And then Alex. Yeah, in tobacco, it was 10 years. Life expectancy was 10 years. Okay. Rose, did you want to go? I'm trying to see. Did she comment? Mic isn't working. Okay, that's okay, Rose. Just type it if you can, and I'll read out your answer. Yes, they did. The life expectancy on tobacco plantations were 10 years. Yep, that's great, Liz. Huge boiling pots, absolutely. So Rose just said to refine sugar on the plantations, they would work hours over huge boiling pots, absolutely. And then someone said earlier they would have to, sometimes in the big rolling machines, where they would put the different sugar cane, the hand might get stuck, and if the hand got stuck, they would just chop it off. And so they kept an axe on the wall next to that machine just in case. Yeah, they did. Yes, they did.
That's giving 2 meals per day.
Okay. So, oh, I'm sorry. Wait, Alan, were you trying to speak? Let me unmute you. I'm sorry. Oh, Alice, can you unmute yourself and say it again? I didn't realize you were trying to share. No. Okay. All right. So the main staple crop that's going to be specific to the United States is going to be, there's tobacco in the South. There's also rice. But then the one that takes over is going to be cotton. So I am curious, has anybody ever heard of the Marie Antoinette story and her cotton dress? Just yes or no? Okay, Michelle? Okay, Michelle, do you want to share? Oh, Naika. Oh, you guys are coming in hot. So Michelle was the first one. Michelle, if you want to unmute yourself and share. Can I type? Yes, you can type. That's totally fine. And I will just read your answer. Heard the name, not the story. So basically, Marie Antoinette's dress was made of cotton, and the woman wanted it as well. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to tell the story how I told the story in class. And so y'all just have to deal with all of my extraness right now. Okay. So Marie Antoinette was the queen of Spain. I mean, not Spain, France. Woo, Lord. She was the queen of France. And she had a chateau where she would like go and hang out with her girls. And she wanted to wear a cotton dress. Yes, yes, yes. That is exactly what happened. So she wanted she wanted to wear this cotton dress. And so you guys are like, okay, well, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is like cotton is really not the material that is used in France. Miss Wesley isn't on group chat. So cotton really isn't the material that was used in France. So she wore it, and then she was painted in it. And so, you know, they didn't have Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or any of those things back then, but it kind of went viral in a 1700s kind of way. And after the dress went viral, How are we going to tell her what's on it? It's okay. I recorded it, so I'll share the link with you guys too. Okay, because I'm recording it right now. So anyway, so she wore the dress. It got painted. It went viral, but like 1700s viral, which is very different from today. And so all the other rich ladies were like, oh my God, if Marie can wear it, so can I. So then they were like, it is on Google Classroom. Oh, okay. So they were like, if Marie can wear it, then so can I. You don't want the 2020 viral. I know, right? So anyway, so all the ladies went to their husbands, to their boo, and were like, hey boo, like I saw this new dress that the queen was wearing, and like I really feel like you should get this for me. And they were like, okay. And so everybody started getting these dresses made out of cotton. And the important part about that is that exactly, Adriana, the demand for cotton went up. Fashion trend, hashtag fashion trend, period, Tiffany. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Don't judge me. I'm extra like this all the time. Okay, so this is important because hashtag cotton dress. Yes, this is important. James Curry. Did James Curry put his hand up? No. Okay. I'm like, what is Sam saying? All right. And so this is important because a lot of people would say that hashtag 1700s viral. Yes. Oh, good. Okay. So a lot of people would say that slavery was kind of dying down because remember also, this is all happening in the 1700s, and people would say that slavery was kind of on its way out, but then the fact that this Queen of France wore this cotton dress and made it go viral. Everybody wants to wear cotton now. So then it explodes. And then not only that, but somebody invented something that made producing cotton a lot easier. And Frederica, somebody, oh, you know what, y'all just too quick with it. Yes. True. Linen is where it's at. Okay, but wait a minute. We had someone that put their hand up, Federica. If you want to unmute yourself and share, please do so. Eli Whitney, that was my next question. James beat me to it. Okay, Federica said, hold up.
Oh, okay. So Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin in 17-something, and basically this made it so cotton was a lot easier harvested. It popularized interchangeable parts, which meant that now machinery used like the same part, so you could more easily fix your machinery. And slaves, which were like not already being used a lot, were now needed to run the cotton gin. And yes. I think he had hoped that it would contribute to like abolition and not needing slaves. But it backfired for him. Slaves started to operate cotton gins, and also I think they were really dangerous to operate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome sauce, you guys. Okay. So we got the cotton gin. Is there anybody that does not understand? Sorry, let me ask that question. And then there's a lot of people who are raising their hand. Nothing is showing up. You can't see anything. Can you hear, Eric? As long as you can hear, that should be fine. I mean, you should see me too, but wait, what? Nothing. Eli Whitney. Okay, so we have some hands. There's a lot of hands. Eric, just leave and rejoin. Hamza has a question. I'm sorry, you guys. You guys are typing quicker than I can keep up. The camera's off? It shouldn't be. You guys, if you can't see me, then just leave and rejoin. Because I have the camera on. Okay, awesome. The camera, yeah, the camera's on. So you guys should be able to see me. Now I have to scroll all the way down to the bottom because okay. Sorry, can you explain cotton gin again? Okay. I will. Oh, you guys keep beating me to it. So John just put it in there. Thank you, John. So the cotton gin is a machine that sped up the process of removing seeds from cotton. So it just made it easier to produce. Supply goes up, and because the demand goes up. So, okay, I'm trying to keep up with everything. I hope I'm not missing anybody. All right. So cotton gin, Eli Whitney. And that was in 1794. So that was a year after the death of Marie Antoinette. And so why do I keep talking about Marie Antoinette? Because this also is really important to something else that happens, which is Marie was killed because of the French Revolution. And that started in 89 and ends in 1799. And so the French Revolution also inspires something else. And I'm curious of who can tell me what that is. The power duo. James, yeah, unmute yourself and go for it. Yeah, oh, Lucas said, hold my water, James. I got this.
I was thinking you might have wanted me to say liberty, equality, and fraternity. But yeah, they did crack down pretty hard on Haiti.
Yes, okay. So, and can you see right here? 1794 is the year. Up.
The Haitian Revolution?
No, not the Haitian Revolution. Someone was asking about the
the French Revolution. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the French Revolution actually starts in 89. The Haitian Revolution comes next. So yes, Haiti. So Haiti is literally, okay. So it's kind of disrespectful to say it's the first country, right? Because it disrespects the indigenous people and their lands. So what we will say is Haiti is the first country recognized by Western powers. So let's say that, right? Because the indigenous people had their own people, they had their own land, they had their own communities. But yeah, Haitian Revolution, baby. Yeah, we have a few Haitian students here. Woo, yeah. Okay, sorry. I will control myself. So the Haitian Revolution is really important because it gets inspired by the French Revolution. And it actually starts off as a enslaved people's insurrection. And a lot of people say that it started as a result of somebody named Dutty Boukman. And I'm going to type his name, Dutty Boukman. And Dutty Boukman, yes, Adriana. So, revolt. So Dutty Boukman was actually an enslaved person from Jamaica. And according to some historical accounts, he was one of those people that was like, I'm about this life. You're not going to enslave me. So I'm going to make it do what it do. So they called him a troublemaker, and he was shipped from Jamaica and sent to Haiti. And so he got to Haiti, and it is believed that he was like a Muslim, but he also met up with someone who practiced Vodou, or AKA voodoo. I'm about to rebel. Exactly. That's right, Irma. That is right. Period, poo. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop. So anyway, so he comes to Haiti and he meets up with someone who practices Vodou, aka voodoo. And once that happens, then it was like a wrap. Okay. So voodoo. Hold on. Let me put it in chat. Okay. So, and this is why actually there's like a lot of myths around Vodou or voodoo, because during this time period, a lot of enslaved people used this African spiritual tradition in order to get themselves through everything that was happening. So, yes. And so anyway, so one day they went into the woods. It was at night. They started having like, well, this is the legend. Legend goes that they started having a voodoo ceremony. Everybody's feeling it. They're dancing. The drum is moving. And then all of a sudden it was like, you know what? To freedom! Or something like that. Or whatever Nikki said. Yeah, I'm sorry, Siani. I'm going to calm down. So anyway, so they end up going to... Yes. They all went, I'm gonna head out. Exactly. That's exactly how it happened. I'm telling you, this is what happened. So they all ended up, so that's how the slave rebellion, that is how the enslaved people's rebellion started in Haiti. And it actually lasted until 1804, which is remarkable. And they actually had to defeat the French twice, not once, but twice. And throughout this process, there's like wars going on in France. So this is important. I'm getting to why this is important to the Americas. So there's wars going on in Europe. France, not only are they dealing with a civil war within their own country because of the revolution, but then they're dealing with England, which is like, it's a good time to attack too. And then the Spanish are like, yup, let's go. And so they're fighting wars on all these different fronts. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm so extra. I'm gonna work on that. French and Indian War. So they're fighting. So also remember that Haiti occupies one side of the island and Spain occupies the other side of the island of Hispaniola. So there's Haiti and then there's Dominican Republic. So remember, Spain has that part and then France has the other part. So they're like fighting Spain, they're fighting England, they're fighting what's going on the inside. And then also the blacks, right, are just like, what's up? You gotta fight us too. So they eventually get their freedom, which is great. But then as soon as they win their freedom, France slaps them with a fine, and basically they have to pay in order to be free. Yes, they did, and they didn't. Yes, Napoleon. Yes. It's okay. I'm recording, Blue. So if you need to skedaddle to your next class, it's fine. I'll make sure your teachers get it. They finally finished paying the fine off a few years ago. I'm not sure of the exact date, but it was like late. They were really trying to show that dominance. Yeah, and so the other thing is like all the other European powers, once the Haitians got their freedom, all the other European powers were like, Haiti? I don't know a Haiti. They completely like shut them down. They ignored them. They put like bans on them so they could not interact with the other countries. And so that really creates the backdrop for a lot of the economic difficulties. Right. A lot of the economic difficulties. And so this is important to the US when we start to talk about the compromises, because France actually ends up at this time, they're pretty much bankrupt, right? And they're bankrupt because they've been fighting all these wars, and wars leave you bankrupt. So they end up selling the portion of the US that they had, known as the Louisiana Purchase, to the US. And so this creates like this big powder keg around this whole conversation around slavery. They made tariffs and destroyed their economy. Absolutely. But then also the Haitians, like they could have kept like the plantations going as well. But the Haitians were like, y'all want to enslave us? We're going to destroy everything. And so they destroyed a lot of the infrastructure, a lot of the farming infrastructure, because they were like, even if they come back in here, they are never going to enslave us again. And a really good documentary to watch about this is called Black in Latin America by Professor Henry Louis Gates. And if you guys get a chance, that is on YouTube. I can drop the link in here too. But the Haiti one is, in particular, is really enlightening. So I'm going to put the link in here unless somebody beat me to it, because I heard a bloop go up. Black in Latin America. Did someone drop the link? Okay. I got it right here, so I'm going to give it to you guys. It's literally like the first episode. It's like one of the best things I've ever watched. The Haitians destroyed their own infrastructure. They say you're never going to enslave other people. So even if you come in, even if you like come back in and try to take over, you're going to have to start from scratch. Yes, thank you, John. James has his hand raised. James, what's up? Yes, yes, yes. And Trujillo, President Trujillo, and he actually talks about that in the other documentary that they do.
I think I got it working.
Yep.
I just want to say, like, if you want a little more evidence of Haiti's like dedication to like fighting oppression in the Americas and stuff, later on when Haiti had become an empire, Bolivar, I think, came to Haiti first because he wanted some funding to free the Latin American colonies from Spain. Actually, I think during the Napoleonic Wars, since Spain got exiled. Yes. And I think that he actually did grant them the funding, but the fact that Bolivar went there in the first place shows that they were like trusted to help with this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to read. So didn't all the minorities face? Yeah. So because of the revolution, a lot of Black people faced a lot of repercussions, but they did not care. It also started a lot of revolts. Once the Haitians did it, it was a wrap. All right. So cool. All right. So let's move on to the compromises. I'm gonna move this stuff over so you guys can see. Can anybody tell me what the major compromises are? So let me set the backdrop for you, okay? So it's a snowstorm. You're in a mountain. You make a little snowball, and then you keep pushing the snowball, and you keep pushing the snowball, you keep pushing the snowball, and then eventually the snowball turns into a big ball, and then eventually the big ball is gonna do what? Yes, exactly. So slavery is like it's like a gaping wound. It's an avalanche. Thank you. It's like a gaping wound, and nobody knows how to deal with it. Everybody keeps putting bandages on it, right? Hoping that somehow that will be enough. But the thing about putting bandages on gaping wounds is that doesn't work, right? And so I want you guys to think of the compromises as a small snowball that starts to turn into a bigger one, that starts to turn into a big one, and eventually is an avalanche. And the avalanche is going to be the Civil War. Yes, you got to stitch it. Yes, that sounded gross. My brain is like a domino effect. Absolutely. And so I know we're like rushing through this material. Again, I apologize in advance. But I did want to give you guys some background. So can anybody tell me what the Missouri Compromise of 1820 was? Raise his hand. Wait. Okay, James, you got in first.
I know I've been speaking a lot, so if the person who came after me really wants to do it, then I'll hang back.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, Rukaya. Okay, I don't think. Okay, let's go to Irma.
Wasn't the compromise like they set up they were doing a vote?
Type it in the box next time. Oh, not yet.
Oh.
Not yet. You're thinking of Kansas-Nebraska. So we're literally, Rukaya, next time just type it into the chat box, okay? Yes. Thank you, John. All right, so I'm going to just put it here so you guys can see it. The Missouri Compromise, also known as the Compromise of 1820. Okay, so the Missouri Compromise, aka the Compromise of 1820, have to solve this issue, right? Why did they ignore the Haitians? Well, they ignored them because they were Africans who literally so not only did they free themselves, but they also gave the directive to basically slaughter any European left on the island. So the Haitians were not playing, and they did not want to replicate that behavior throughout the rest of the enslaved world. So yes, James. So the Missouri Compromise is like the little snowball, right? And so one of the big things you're going to have to figure out is, with all of these different new territories coming into the U.S., you have to figure out, is it going to be a free state or is it going to be an enslaved state? And so when you talk about the Missouri Compromise, this is one of those things that Congress has to come up with. And what they do is they decide to utilize this formula where if one state comes in as enslaved, the other one comes in as free. So Missouri wanted to come in first. Everyone's like, nah, Missouri, you can't come in, because if you come in, you're going to disrupt the balance of Congress. And then Maine was like, hold your horses, let me up in this, John. So then they were like, all right, so since Maine is coming in as a free state, then Missouri can also come in. The other thing that you guys need to know is it was agreed. Wait, what am I missing? Didn't it stop the slave trade? Didn't what stop the slave trade?
I think she's saying that, like, didn't the Missouri Compromise stop the slave trade?
Oh, no. That was in 1807, I believe. And then also remember that the British were the ones to do it first. And then the US came along and did it and stopped the slave trade. So the Missouri Compromise comes in 1820.
From what I heard, I thought that, like, when the Constitution was being decided, they decided that the slave trade would end like a couple years out. So that was like another thing to the South, like, okay, we realize you don't want to stop importing slaves now. We'll give you a couple more years to do it, and then we're going to stop it.
I mean, that's also part of it, but remember that Britain had stopped the slave trade. So it was only a matter of time, and they were patrolling the Paxa. Oh no, are you serious? Oh Lord. Yikes. Cam's like 30 more minutes. All right, let's keep going a little bit more. If you guys don't mind that my kids are here. Oh my God, it goes by so fast. You can hold us after school. Oh Lord, no. All right, we'll do a few more minutes. We'll do a few more minutes. Okay. If my kids start to work, they're on a homeschool schedule, and their homeschool schedule ends soon. So just if I have 4 of them, so if you hear kids, don't judge me.
Miss, people can just leave. That's all I'm saying. People can just leave.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. They stopped the slave trade, but didn't some people still? Yes. Oh my God. Show of hands to how many of you guys know who Questlove is from The Roots? Me, no, yes, no, me, yes, no, me, no. Okay, so this is really, really, really cool. So Questlove was on Finding Your Roots, also by Professor Henry Louis Gates. And it turns out that he can trace his ancestor back to Africa. And the reason he can trace his ancestor back to Africa is because they were on the last known slave ship to come to the Americas. And there is the Clotilda. Oh, what year? I'm having a brain fart. Yes, it was illegal. You guys, let me get the year so that I do not tell you the wrong thing, because that's the last thing that I want to do. It was called the Clotilda. It arrived either in 1859 or 1860. Crazy, right? Crazy, right? Okay. Yes. So yes, and the ship is actually still it's still in the river. It sunk. But he is a part of, yes, thank you, 1860. So his ancestors is one of the few that were on there. And the crazy thing about that is, oh God, there is a book written by Zora Neale Hurston. I'm having a brain fart. What is the name of that book? Liz, have you read that book? I feel like running upstairs to go get it, but it's gonna take me too much time to run upstairs. God, what is it? Oh my goodness, Barracoon. Yes, Barracoon. And so the book, the Barracoon for slaves illegally. Yes, it brought them illegally. So Barracoon actually talks about this whole process, and it's a really good book. It's hard to get through because it's written in the formerly enslaved person's like broken English, but it's really, really, really good. So you guys should definitely check that out. But anyway, so back to 1820, sorry. So the Compromise of 1820 basically allows Missouri to come in as a enslaved state, and also Maine to come in. The other thing was you could not, any state, so this the rule was above, any state that comes in, hold on one second. Any state that comes in above Missouri would automatically come in as a free state, and any state below it would be an enslaved state. So everyone's like, okay, great, this is all solved. Woo, 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 woo. We're all good to go. And then, but before Kansas even happened, what was the Compromise of 1850? Hands. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nadamine. Yes, Kali.
The Compromise of 1850, it led to the South and the North gaining and losing a few things. Right. The South gained the Fugitive Slave Law, and the North gained California as a free state. And it turns out that two states, Utah and New Mexico, restricted slavery.
So you just want to teach the class then? All right, I'm gonna head out.
Yep.
I said too much info in my brain. Okay, it is a lot of info. Basically, the only thing that you need to know about the Compromise of 1850 is that what the North got, or what those who were against slavery got, was that California, which is huge. And they got that, by the way, from the Mexican-American War. But California gets to come in as a free state, and then they were like, okay, we gotta appease the crybaby Southerners, so we'll just pass the Fugitive Slave Act. And the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 was crazy. Let me just say. So yeah, that is the Compromise of 1850, and so we're like, all right, cool. We put another Band-Aid on slavery. It's over. Yes. Oh, wait. Okay, it's not over because somebody's lost. All right. Okay, yes. Okay, let me explain the Fugitive Slave. Wait, James has his hand up. Sorry, let me go back in the chat. James, you want to share?
I know that we're trying to wrap some stuff up.
Yeah.
But I think Devstree Shah wrote like an essential question for us to use. Yeah. Like, is that a good essential question, or do you have a suggestion for yourself?
No, that's a good one, simply because we're literally just recapping. So I'm like throwing a bunch of stuff at you guys. I'm sorry,
Okay.
because I have as well. Yeah, that's fine. Guys, remember, if you need to leave, it's okay, because I am recording. So you can go back and finish watching the best. Yes, and I will post a picture of the board. Yeah, so the Fugitive Slave Act was a huge deal because what it does is basically the North was a haven for people who were deciding to take it into their own hands and start to move up north and escape slavery. And what it essentially does is it basically militarizes any individual and gives them the capacity to walk up to any Black person that they see on the street and ask them to show them their papers. And if they did not have their papers, they could essentially go to the courts and say, this person is an escaped slave and I need to turn them in. So you're basically allowing everyone to be police and police the movements of Black people. So this is a big deal. A lot of free Black people were kidnapped. Yes. All right, Daisy, I'll see you tomorrow. You're welcome. Yeah, so they had to have papers to prove their freedom. And a lot of times they would even take their papers and then enslave them anyway. So 12, yes, it is rigged. So 12 Years a Slave. If you guys have not seen that movie, that's a good movie to watch because it actually happened. All right, so somebody said Kansas, Nebraska. Let's finish this off here. Let's end here. Kansas, Nebraska. What can you guys tell me about the Kansas-Nebraska Act? And that was in 1854. Bloody Kansas. That's right. We should get extra credit for joining. You know what? Nah. It was a bloodbath. Yes. Okay, Irma has her hand up. Irma, you can unmute yourself. Uh-oh. Come on, Irma.
Okay, so it was basically like Kansas was having a vote between whether it can become a slave state or a free state. Mm-hmm. and like a bunch of like pro-slavery folk came into Kansas and vote, and a lot of abolitionists came like, hey, this is invalid. These pro-slaves don't live in Kansas.
Yes.
This led to like fighting.
Yes, and also the Kansas-Nebraska Act completely invalidates the Compromise of 1820. So because remember, the goal was like, okay, if anybody comes in, if it's above Missouri, free, below, enslaved, right? But it repeals the Missouri. Yes, go ahead, Federica. Yes, I know, Adriana. I need help. So yes. So, and then the final straw, which we don't have time for because we literally have a minute left, was the Dred Scott case. But sorry, so what we do tomorrow is we'll pick up tomorrow at the Dred Scott case. We'll talk a little bit about the Civil War, and I'll give you guys some info for that. And then we're gonna jump right into Reconstruction. And if you guys have any questions and you need to stay on and ask me, yes, Supreme Court's worst decision. No, we have class tomorrow. Yeah, we have class tomorrow. Okay, and make sure you guys read Miss Williams. All right, make sure you read Miss Williams. She left you guys a message too. So I just want to thank you guys so much. Yeah, we got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The only time we don't have class is Friday. Yes, Lincoln. Absolutely. You guys are amazing. You guys, you take my nerves away. I get nervous, you know. No, thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you, guys. Be safe. Try to get out and go for a little hike. It's my can you come to my school? You're so welcome. Okay, so I'm going to record this. What did the Kansas-Nebraska? Oh, it started, basically people consider the Kansas-Nebraska Act the first shots of the Civil War, because it turns into like this big, huge conflict. People start fighting. And then after that, it's like, haven't been outside in days. Yeah, Jade, you should go take a walk. We need that vitamin D. I need to be in your class again. I know, and I know, but we're here and we're together. So the Kansas-Nebraska Act basically introduces this concept of popular sovereignty, which means that the states can choose for themselves whether they want to be free or enslaved. So eventually, Kansas is going to come in as a free state, but they come in after the Civil War has already started. Oh, sorry, get that for me, please. Can I, like, what was the, okay. So the Kansas-Nebraska Act literally gave the states who wanted to come in permission to vote on whether it wanted to be a free state or an enslaved state. And so Kansas, people came into Kansas and they voted. And at first it was like, oh, they voted for slavery. And then those votes got overturned. People started fighting. That's a nice giraffe. I know. Thank you. So people started fighting. So yeah, so essentially the act was, it gave Kansas the right to vote on whether it wanted to be free or enslaved. But the reason why it's such a big deal is that there was like a huge battle as a result, and the pro-slavery and anti-slavery folks were going back and forth at it. They were killing each other. So you guys are hilarious. All right, I am ordering all of you to go outside and get some fresh air, but just make sure you keep like 6 feet away from the person next to you, okay? Nope, I had physics. Okay, Rose, later. All right, bye guys. I'll make sure I post a link for your teachers. Have a wonderful day and be safe.